Hello to you. Today, for initial checkout, I have a Uniden EXS2080 900MHz digital spread spectrum cordless telephone with caller ID and a digital answering system. So, I got this. I don't really know if it was actually new in box or what. The box was kind of damaged and it had certainly been opened before, but the phone itself looks pristine. It's missing the handset belt clip and the wall mount for the base unit, but thankfully this base can sit flat on a table without that. And the base still has this protective film over the display, and the handset still has this sticker on the battery compartment cover. Unfortunately, the antenna is bent, but at least it's not broken, so I might be able to bend it back. So, first let's connect a battery to this thing. This is a GPI battery. Alright, there's nothing that it does on startup immediately. I guess you just have to start pressing buttons. Oh, cool. Alright, so that adjusts the voice volume or earpiece volume. Here's the ring button. There's the switch on the bottom, ringer off on. Wow. A Uniden 900MHz DSS phone with caller ID with the traditional flicker and clatter ringtones. That's really rare. My EXS2080 doesn't have caller ID, and it also has those ringtones, but also its range is abysmal compared to the other Uniden 900 DSS phones. So I'm hoping this one will be better. It doesn't have the metal base antenna that seems to coincide with better range, but that is just so cool. I love that clatter ringtone, and I actually prefer the sound of flicker on a piezo. It's quite loud on high, though. Interested to see what the bass ringer sounds like. I really hope it's the same as the EXS2080 ringer. So let's plug in the bass. Oh dear, that does not look like it's going to work at all. Oh no, there we go. Okay, alright. It just said U first and then went to 88, and now it looks to be in normal mode of operation. I wonder if it said U because it's a Uniden product. Here's the testing phone line. What happened? Oh, that must have been what. That must have been what happened. I didn't have that plugged in all the way. Alright. Oh yeah, there's some switches up here. We have ringer off on. So unfortunately there's no volume control. Pulse and tone, and I think over here is some others. Yep, there's record time. I'll set that to 4. And ring time, and it's set to toll saver, so for the video I'll set that to 2. Alright, let's reset the security code. And yeah, there we go. So let's pick up the phone line. It's not super loud. Is there anything in the redial? Nope. That's loud. Ah, sounds like we're getting some interference. There is a channel button. Huh. That's weird. Alright, let's just make a test call. Whoops. Okay, let's try that again, I guess. I don't know what happened.
The number you have reached, 605-767-2676, is not in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. Thank you. The number you have reached, 605-767-2676, is not in service. If you feel you have reached this...
Well, I hear some interference. Sounds like 60 Hz interference, and I have a feeling that's because I'm using a non-OEM adapter. So, I guess I'd better try a different one for now. Well, alright. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get a different adapter. I would have used this one to begin with, but I didn't know if it would output enough current because this thing doesn't say what current output it wants. This one was 800 milliamps, and this new one is only 300. But I guess it'll be alright for just a test either way. So let's try that again. Ah, yeah.
The number you have reached, 605...
No buzzing this time. Perfect. And I wonder if that dial tone will sound a bit cleaner now. Nope. Not really sure what's going on with that. Let me try the other phone line. It sounds fine on the other phone line. Not sure what's up with that. Wow, this thing has a lot of side tone. Alright. So let's go ahead and call up this phone. Oh, yes! No way!
Hello.
Whoa,
No one is
okay.
available to take your call.
No need to shout back at me here. Yes, this thing actually sounds just like the EXS2080 bass, and I'm sure some others, but I don't have any others that sound like that, except for this this one Radio Shack one. I can't even remember what that one's category number is. Yes! Wow! Alright. Now I just really want to find out the range of this thing. Okay, goodbye. That releases the line nice and quickly.
You have one new message.
Yes, this thing actually sounds just like the EXS2080 bass, and I'm sure some others, but I don't have any others that sound like that, except for this one Radio Shack one. I can't even remember what that one's category number is. Yes! Wow! Alright. Now I just really want to find out the range of this thing. Okay, goodbye.
Monday, 12:11 a.m.
It's kind of funny. At the end of the message, my PBX's reorder tone sounded just like a dial tone with the way it was cut off. It is the same as the PBX's dial tone, or at least the same frequency. Alright.
Hello. No one is available.
So that's the greeting. Let's record a new greeting. This is a testing greeting on the surprisingly analog-like Uniden 900MHz DSS model EXS2080 cordless telephone. Oh, yeah, I guess you don't have to hold that button the whole time. Hold on, play that again. Testing greeting on the surprisingly analog-like Uniden 900MHz DSS model EXS2080 cordless telephone. Yeah, I cut off the beginning of my greeting. Let's just try that again. Can you hear me any better this time? I'm speaking closer to the microphone. Can you hear me any better this time? I'm speaking closer to the microphone. Yes, you can. Alright. Voice memo. The wind noise. You know, I wonder if there's a way to turn off call screening. I doubt there is. I just have to turn down the volume. Can you hear me any better this time? I'm speaking closer to the microphone. Okay, this is a second testing message left onto this telephone. Are we going to have a feedback freak show? No. Alright. So now, also the screen lights up to say that it's answering. That's pretty cool. Now let's call the test phone from this and see how the outgoing audio sounds. This is a testing message left from the Uniden EXS2010. Now let's switch to the base unit. And I'm now speaking with both of these. Oh, that was terrible. It wasn't feeding back very much at first. I thought I was going to get away with that. Alright. So there's the base unit down on the floor. And I'm speaking a little louder now. But now, without raising the volume of my voice, I'm going to start backing away from this telephone. I'm currently 4 feet away from the telephone. And now I'm about 6 feet from the telephone. Now I'm about 8 feet away from the telephone. And finally, I'm about 10 feet away from the telephone. Okay, so clearly the base speakerphone didn't pick up my voice throughout all of that. And I'm going to leave another message to see how the channel change sounds from this phone. Let's listen to the sound of changing the channel. Alright, it has been changed. Let's do it a few more times. And now I'll press some buttons. And now I'll test the mute function. Alright. And I think that's about it. Okay, so for the memories, it doesn't look like there's anything in there. It's got 20 memories. So now that this testing answering machine has released the line, let's listen to both those messages.
2 new messages. Message 1.
This is a testing message left from the Uniden EXS2080. Now let's switch to the base unit. And I'm now speaking with both of these. Terrible. It wasn't feeding back very much at first. I thought I was going to get away with that. Alright. So there's the base unit down on the floor. And I'm speaking a little louder now. But now, without raising the volume of my voice, I'm going to start backing away from this telephone. I'm currently 4 feet away from the telephone. And now I'm about 6 feet from the...
Wednesday, 7:14 p.m. Message 2.
Let's listen to the sound of changing the channel. Alright, it has been changed. Let's do it a few more times. And now I'll press some buttons. And now I'll test the mute function. Alright. And I think that's about it.
Wednesday, 7:15 p.m. End of messages.
The outgoing audio on both the handset and bass sounded quite good. Bass speakerphone was actually a little better than I expected. I think just the testing answering machine didn't like the distant sound of my voice. But yeah, that bass speakerphone actually sounded very good. So let's look at the other answering machine functions. There's on-off.
Answer off.
Can you hear me any better this time? I'm speaking closer to the microphone.
And there's the pin.
80.
That's on the default. Here's the clock.
Monday, 12:20 a.m. Monday. Wednesday, 12. 7:20 a.m. p. Wednesday, 7:19 p.m.
I'm kind of surprised it didn't grab the time from the caller ID. Now let's page the handset. This is probably going to be loud. Yep, nice and loud. And is there an intercom function on this? It doesn't look like there is, which is kind of surprising. So now on the handset, I'm interested to see if these memories are designed reasonably or not. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to press and hold that button. Memory store, let's try number 1. Okay, so it's not designed reasonably. The way that these should work is when you want to enter letters, you just press the button that corresponds to one of those letters. Like for example, for A, B, or C, you'd press 2, once for A, twice for B, and thrice for C. But the way they want you to do it on this involves using these directional up and down keys to scroll through every single character until you find the one you want, including uppercase and lowercase letters. That's ridiculous. Alright, so... I wonder if it does caller ID match. Nope, it does not.
Can you hear me any better?
Alright. It can answer when it's already answering. You can override and answer the call. That's as expected, but it's good to test that out, I guess. So let's just try dialing from that memory. B. Looks like that works. I just dialed somebody named B. Okay, now there's a dedicated button for setup, so let's press that. Auto talk. I'll leave that off. Call waiting, caller ID is on, that's good. Area code, I don't need to program that. And that's it. Now let's just make an outgoing call and then transfer to the base so we can test that. And then I guess I better play these messages I left on here. Can you play them as you're making a phone call? Nope. Huh. Alright, I guess I'll call a different number this time. What should I do?
We're sorry. You have reached a number did or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording...
Well, my camera ran out of space, so in the time it took me to back up the SD card and reformat it, I went on a range test with this telephone outside. I have to say I was underwhelmed, but I'll play the testing messages with that range test after I call back that recording I was just playing on this thing.
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the area code and the number and try your call again. We're sorry.
That's very quiet.
If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the area code and the number and try your call again.
So that was very quiet, but it's normal for that recording to be quiet. So, alright.
Two new messages and 2 old messages. Message 1.
Well, since my camera filled up, I'm going to record a range test while the SD card is being transferred to a flash drive. So I'm starting pretty much line of sight, and I think I'm about 200, maybe 250 feet away. And sadly the range isn't all that good on this phone. I'm going to start walking, break line of sight right now. And as you can probably hear, it's really dropped off a lot. So I think realistically, 250 feet line of sight works just fine. 250 to maybe 270 feet, not line of sight, is a different story. So I think the range on this is pretty much equivalent to my EXS2080, which is unfortunate, but kind of what I was thinking, given how similar it is to it. it had been my experience previously that all my caller ID equipped 900 MHz DSS Unidens had far superior range to my non-caller ID EXS2080. But I guess that's because I haven't tried phone in this series yet. Because all the others transmitted on a higher power, possibly. It seems like the EXS2010 and this EXS2080 have very similar range to the regular digital 900 MHz phones. And in fact, since they have a channel button, they're really very similar. They're not quite like the true digital spread spectrum phones that Uniden put out, I think, starting in 1999. I don't know exactly, but it seems like this one is just a little older or less advanced. Sadly, because it's missing both the original power adapter and battery, there's no way I know of to check a date code on this thing. But I'm now going back towards the house, probably about 80 feet away now, maybe more like 60, it's hard to estimate. And back in pretty much line of sight conditions. So now I'm just going to leave another message where I go down to the basement, because that's really the only other important place to go. There's two neighbors' houses where most of my phones can't go, but a couple can. And then our basement, where, again, a lot of my phones can't go. But it's definitely preferable to have one that goes at least to the basement. So, goodbye.
Wednesday, 7:36 p.m. Message 2.
Okay, I'm at the top of the basement stairs, now heading down. And now I'm going to go around the perimeter of the basement. Usually this part is where some phones have trouble, including some Panasonic 900 MHz phones, 900 MHz digital phones that I have. And I'm over by one of my electronics workbenches, and again, a lot of phones do have trouble over there. Now I'll go into the storage room, and I'll go to the far end of that, which is still closer than the first two places I mentioned. And now I'll go to the bathroom. And now I'm back at the bottom of the basement stairs, so I'm going to hang up now.
Wednesday, 7:40 p.m. End of messages.
So as you can hear, the range isn't anywhere near a typical 900 MHz digital spread spectrum from Uniden. Actually, I don't know if I can say that as you can hear, because I don't know if I've ever made a range test video of one of those. Certainly, if you watching this have one of those phones, then you'd know, but anyway, the range on this thing is, I'd say, quite good for what it is, just not as good as most other similar models. And it's certainly a lot better than most other phones ever made. So, now let's play those messages I left onto this machine.
You have 2 new messages and 1 old message.
Voice memo. Illinois.
Monday, 12:14 a.m.
Okay, this is a second testing message left onto this telephone. Are we going to have a feedback freak show? No. All right.
Monday, 12:14 a.m.
Alright, so that sounded pretty digitized, but not too bad. I like how it announces the time more quickly than most of the Unidens of this era. Actually, more quickly than most Unidens I've ever heard. So there we go. That will conclude this initial checkout video for the Uniden EXS2080. Now I just realized I forgot to show the original box and papers that came with this phone, but you can watch my unboxing video for this thing if you want to see those. Alright, thank you for watching.